So I'm going to talk about this triad of codependency, people-pleasing, and not feeling good enough, as these experiences tend to come together and have similar underlying wounds attached to them. They share what these experiences share in common is other-centeredness, focusing on the other rather than focusing on one's own experience. And the sorts of underlying wounds that we see here are approval seeking, looking for validation outside the self, looking to please others, perfectionism, defectiveness, shame, feeling like there's something wrong with me, and I need to constantly work hard to compensate for that. Self-sacrificing or abandoning the self, constantly looking after others, refusing to say no, to set boundaries. And dependence, feeling you're unable to look after yourself, that you need other people to look after you. So I might look after others, hoping that they're going to look after me, rather than looking after myself directly. Subjugation, which is complying with others at your expense. So, when we're subjugated in a relationship, we tend to be, our needs are not as important. We tend to capitulate. We tend to not to assert ourselves, just to comply. And the work there is to begin to stand up for yourself, to express your needs, to set boundaries, to become assertive. And these wounds really are in the area of enmeshment, hoping other people are going to look after us rather than I can look after myself, you can look after yourself. Getting a sense of self through our relationship with others. And often when we have these sorts of underlying wounds, there has been some emotional deprivation in our experience growing up, where we didn't get what we needed from our caretakers. So we've had to adapt and look after others rather than focus on getting what we need. We can respond to these different wounds by in a few different ways. We can avoid. So for example, we might avoid relationships entirely. We can surrender. So subjugation is a form of surrendering. We can overcompensate. I might be really out there trying to get validation all the time from others in the form of sex addiction, for example. So when we don't get what we need from our caretakers, we tend to develop adaptive strategies which are other-centered, which are about looking after the other. So our caretakers may not have been available because they have their own wounding. They may have been narcissistic or addicted. And so we learn to prioritize other people's needs and feelings, to avoid conflict, to walk around on eggshells, not wanting to upset other people, not wanting to set them off. And when we overdevelop the caretaking role, we're over-concerned with how other people are. We tend to underdevelop our own boundaries, our own sense of identity, our own sense of self-esteem, and our sense of being within our own frame. And I think one thing that most of us do is we develop ways of surviving our experiences in childhood. We call them our coping mechanisms or adaptive strategies. And we carry on using those adaptive strategies when they may no longer be necessary, because we anticipate having the same experiences that we've always had. But when we carry on with those adaptive strategies, we can end up recreating the same dynamics by attracting people who present with the same familiar dynamics. So the work here is to turn towards ourselves and begin to look after the parts of us that didn't get what they needed growing up. So paying attention, nurturing, meeting our own needs, self-partnering, being a compassionate, empathic presence for ourselves. And mindfulness is a great practice here as well, because it's a great way of checking in with yourself regularly, noticing what's going on for you without judgment, just bringing acceptance, compassion, and empathy to your experience, allowing space to process difficult things, and basically being with yourself in your experience rather than leaving yourself alone with your experience, whatever it is. So two really helpful books here are Receiving Love by Harville Hendrix. And this is a great book. It's basically about, for those of us who have been emotionally deprived, when we are offered what we need, it can be very difficult to receive it because we may not trust it, we may not feel we can rely on it, we may not know what to do with it. So that can be the practice as well, is slowly, consciously beginning to receive what's on offer. And the other one that I think is really helpful is Reinventing Your Life by Jeff Young, which is a Schema Therapy self-help book where he identifies some of the wounds that I was talking about earlier. So you can begin to get a sense of what your underlying wounds are, how you cope with them. You know, do you avoid, surrender, or overcompensate? You know, what are the modes that you go into? And what do these wounded parts